Are you losing thousands? Well, stop, because Airbnb is actually making it easier for us hosts to earn more money. Pet-friendly properties earn more revenue. Airbnb's own data supports this, and it's what every host wants. Pet-friendly properties get more bookings and can charge a higher nightly rate. Plus, stay tuned, because Airbnb has changed how we can charge for pets to come stay with us as hosts, and it's gonna help you make more money, and we'll show you exactly how to do it.
Hi, I'm Sarah Karakayan.
And I'm Annette Grant.
And together we are
Thanks for visiting. We've been hosting for well over a decade, welcomed tens of thousands of guests, and earned thousands of 5-star reviews.
Our portfolio continues to bring in over 1.5 million year over year, and supported not only by the industry's leading brands, but also some of the biggest media outlets.
And we're here to help you with your furnished rental.
Let's discuss why you should consider, because if you're on the fence or you've been a no pet person for a while, just hear us out, why you should consider allowing pets.
Increased bookings. There are so many travelers that will not travel without their beloved 4-legged friend. And if you are opening yourself up to a larger market when you are opening up your space to pets. So if people are going on and using that filter, if it's pet friendly and you're not, then they're not even seeing your space at all. So you are just not a part of that reservation process at all, especially if that's the first thing they're doing. If that's the amenity that they are swiping over to, you're out of the game.
Because I'm a dog mom, proud dog mom, and when we need to travel with our dogs for one reason or another, mostly it's because I want to. That's the thing, is that these pet owners, it's an amenity, right? It's not this thing I could send it to a boarding facility, or I could drive, and this is my real life, an hour and 45 minutes out of my way to drop it off to my in-laws, or if I can take my dogs with me, I love being with them. Mm-hmm. So I know that I have to use that filter before I do anything else in my search parameters. So if you show up in that filter and it's one of the most searched amenities on Airbnb, on Vrbo, across the board.
And what I love about this amenity, when we speak of amenities, they're usually expensive. We're thinking pool, hot tub, sauna. Well, this amenity, you're opening your property to so many more travelers by just allowing pets. So that's what's so great. Like financially, there's a few things that you need to do, but not really. So it's just you're opening up to a larger marketplace with this one, allowing those pets to stay.
And here's the thing. You'll get a payday. So let's go to the next point we want to get across, is it's a higher nightly rate. Whether it's a higher nightly rate and a pet fee, or just your standard rate plus the pet fee, regardless, pet owners are willing to pay, because regardless, I'm going to have to pay. I'm going to have to pay in gas and time taking it to family members. I'm going to have to pay to send it to a boarding facility, which the dogs, don't love it there. They want to be with us and we want to be with them. Or I can have the amenity, take them with me, and I know that I'm going to have to pay for that.
Mm-hmm. Or that stay-at-home, rover pet sitter.
Yeah.
The other thing that happens too is repeat guests, if they come with their pets to your property, and not only does the guest have an amazing time, but the 4-legged friend, family member, has an amazing time, they're more likely to book you again. Mm-hmm. So adding that on to those repeat guests, of them knowing that they were comfortable, their animal was comfortable, and in the space, you're more likely to have those repeat guests.
And you can really lean into the fact that you're pet friendly in your marketing to get those repeat guests to come back. Remind them how awesome your fenced-in yard is. Mm-hmm. Remind them how awesome the little pet amenities that maybe you left behind for the dog, or whatever pets you allow, really enhanced their stay. So leaning into that marketing and tugging at their heartstrings to make them repeat guests is a great thing that you can do in an effort to build your repeat guest roster.
And they could potentially stay longer also. I know if they're pet parents and they know that their dogs are at home in the kennel or someone else is sitting them, they might not have as long of a trip, but if they know they can bring Fido along and get to stay for the whole time, you might also just having those extended stays, those guests staying longer with their pet. Maybe they're doing some work from home for a few weeks and they know they can literally work from home, bring their whole family to your property. The 2025 Airbnb update for pet fees. What changed? What's the update? How can we make more money? They are making it easier for us.
Okay, so we do have another video from before, because I had to share with y'all how I hacked this because I didn't like the way Airbnb had it set before. You could only charge a flat rate per stay. So no matter if they were bringing 2 dogs and staying 2 nights or bringing 1 dog and staying
10 nights.
10 nights, I had a flat fee, which like you didn't you would set the fee so that when people book, like that fee would just automatically populate if they say they're bringing a pet. So it's not like you could change it either per reservation. It was frustrating.
I do want to give Airbnb some claps and snaps here, though, because
Hey, listen.
they do listen. And so before, there wasn't even a pet fee at all.
Correct.
So they dipped their toe in the water and started with a pet fee. So those are the claps and snaps there. But now they've taken it the step further. So that's my offer to everyone is like, Airbnb does make changes. We love when they make these positive changes in our favor, but you have to make sure, that's why you're here watching today, is taking advantage of these things and making it impact your bottom line. So we're gonna get into exactly what changed and how you can utilize it.
Yes, and we are going to show you how to set them, so don't fret. But first, let's go over the different options you have. You could still do the flat rate per stay if you liked that. Listen, I'm not gonna tell you how to run your business. I'm just gonna give you ideas on how to run it better. But if you like the charge per stay, no matter what, flat rate, you can still do that. You could now charge a fee that is per night, which I like. I like it. They're getting better. I don't love that, but there's an option for you. You can charge per pet. So maybe no matter what, how long you're staying doesn't matter to me. Here's the charge per pet. Here's my favorite and what I used to hack and do on my own, which is charge per night and per pet. Listen, you want to bring your Chihuahua and your Poodle and you want to stay with me 3 nights? Great. It's $30 per pet per night, because that's how much, actually it's less than what a boarding facility down the road charges.
And I want to pause here because we get a lot of flack
People
from
don't like that sometimes.
other hosts that feel that that's not hospitable. Some of them don't charge at all for a pet. Some of them, it's that flat rate. Hear us out. This is where, we've done our research and we advise you to also, just to know what's going on in the marketplace. Go to rover.com. Go to a boarding facility in your town and just call. Per pet, per day, what would it be for you to board them or for someone to take care of them? You will be enlightened into the investment that it is for your pet. And so we feel very confident and very convicted in how we welcome guests into our property and the investment that it is for someone to travel with their pet. It's very fair. We have fair pricing and it's in alignment with that service provided across all platforms.
Now, you could also base your pricing, and we'll get into this a little bit later on in the video, on what it takes to keep your property in tip-top condition. Because we are not saying, hear us out, we are not saying that you should allow pets and then not change your turnover protocols. You will have to change your, and we'll get into why that's important.
And you need to have pet amenities too.
Correct.
You do.
And so, therefore, the pricing should not only be based on maybe some of your competition in terms of what it costs to have pets come and stay and be cared for, but also what it does cost you to be able to allow them. You want to make sure that you're making money on this because yes, you're marketing to a large pool of travelers, but you also want to make sure that you're still getting 5-star reviews and that your pricing is still in line with that value. And if you're bringing a lot of value, i.e. a clean place, a lot of amenities, that's all going to be there for you. But I'm getting ahead of myself. We'll dig into that a little bit later on. Okay, let's show you where to find this charge. So in Airbnb, so that you can make changes to your listing if you want to right now. So exciting. You're going to go to the host side of Airbnb. At the top center of your desktop dashboard of your host side of Airbnb, you'll see calendar up there. Click on calendar. Your listings will populate. Select the listing that you want to adjust the rate on for pets. The calendar will pop up, but also on the right side of your screen, a little slide out will come where it'll say either pricing or availability. You'll stay on pricing, scroll down to additional charges, and you'll see fees there. You'll click into that, and then a new sidebar will fly in from the right side, and you can adjust like your cleaning fees, but we want to adjust the pet fee. And you'll see a little caret, and when you click on that caret, it'll drop down to the different options, like that per stay, per pet, per night, or per pet and per night. So this is where you set it. The thing you want to do also is in your listing, you need to say how many pets max you will allow. Really think about that, because as much as we love being pet friendly, we have our limits. Like, there don't need to be, in my opinion, at my properties, 3, 4, 5 dogs running around. Not only is that wear and tear, even if they're great pet parents, going to be more significant, but especially where our properties are, it'll impact other guests, other neighbors. Like, it's a whole thing, and I believe in limiting that, but you want to set that parameter so that someone can't, if you do a per stay, a per pet per night, they can't automatically say they're bringing 4 pets if you don't want them to.
How to set these pet fees the smart way.
Okay, so as you're deciding which fee structure is right for you, I'll give you some things to think about. If you choose the fee structure that is either per pet or per pet and per night, it will significantly increase your rate. But you can use those funds to make sure that those deep cleanings after the pet stay are top notch. And you can use that in your marketing to explain, whether it's in your house rules or somewhere in your listing description, that the pet rate goes to compensating the cleaning team. Or maybe you use, there's a host that we know that she will call her, she's a luxury property. She will call the upholstery company that she's got a great relationship with, and they come in and just steam clean the rugs and the sofa after every stay. So again, like, you can host how you want to host, but just remember that choosing that fee structure will significantly increase the revenue for that stay and what your guest pays. But it's an amenity, you have a nicer place, you do deeper cleans, that could be the option for you. If you want to keep costs down a little bit, you could stick with that per stay fee. If you know on average your stays are pretty short and you have it so that guests can only bring 1 pet, that fee structure actually might be good for you.
A flat fee.
Right, the flat fee per stay, because on average, you don't allow people to stay more than, 4 or 5 nights. Maybe for you, it's important that you get higher turnover to maximize revenue in your property.
Or maybe it's longer stays.
Right.
And so you also
Absolutely.
have that flat rate, so it's attracting people.
Right.
Like, oh, it's only X amount of dollars and my pet can stay for the whole time.
Yes, that's actually for our midterm rental hosts out there. If you can only do midterm rental hosting, you could set a per stay fee. That's where it would work in your
Yes,
favor.
absolutely.
Because you know that your guests have to stay at least
28 days plus.
right. And so then you could set that flat rate for that pet. So again, I love that Airbnb really has given us all the different variations of how we can price what's right for us per listing, giving us more control and the ability to not lose money.
And last but not least, if you still just do not want to charge a pet fee, but you want to welcome pets, you can increase your nightly rate. That way, you might look very attractive to pet owners, that there isn't a additional pet fee, but you have, quote unquote, baked it in to your nightly rate. We just want to make sure, this is what this whole video is about, is making sure somewhere, whether it's baked into your rate, whether it's per stay, whether it's per pet per stay, that you are being financially rewarded and taken care of for allowing the pets to stay at your house and you have that additional amenity. We just see way too many hosts welcoming 1, 2, 3 pets and not doing any sort of financial compensation for it, not receiving any financial compensation.
All right, so let's move on to the potential downsides and risks of allowing pets, because we're not, us over here on the Thanks for Visiting channel, we want to give it to you straight. We want you to make more money, but we want you to know all the different sides, all the different things that can come with these decisions so that you can make the best decision for your business. And the number one thing I want to share with you is this. Yes, people are searching for pet-friendly properties, and so if you show up and you have a great listing, they are more likely to book your place. But hear me when I say that if you don't have a good turnover process, if your place is not clean, if there is pet hair left behind and the next guest doesn't bring a pet, they don't mind that you're a pet-friendly place and they come anyway, but they sit on the couch and they get up and cat hair or dog hair is all over them, like, that's not going to bode well for your reviews. And then this is what happens. You get 4 stars on cleanliness, 3 stars on cleanliness, and it doesn't matter anymore that you have the filter of being pet-friendly. You're not going to populate on that algorithm because people don't like staying at your place. So you've got to make sure that you have a solid turnover process after each pet stay to make sure you're getting your property back to basics, back to the original setting.
Another thing to really think about, we misstepped here, learn from us, is not fully chatting with our cleaners about our decision to be pet friendly. We decided to be pet friendly because we wanted the boost in revenue, and not just the boost in revenue, we needed to open up our doors to more travelers. We wanted to like reap the rewards of opening that up, and we needed for our bottom line to be pet friendly. And we have amenities. We have a nice little pet towel, so if they walk outside and they need to dry off their feet, we have those for them. We have the small bags for they need to clean up out of stuff. But there were some extra things, on the property that had to be washed, that had to be taken care of. And, having that discussion with them, like there's new amenities and there might be deeper cleans. And so you really do want to make sure that you communicate with your entire team that you are becoming pet friendly, because that burden really does fall on the cleaner, but also let them know, compensate them. If there's going to be deep cleans, you're going to be making more money, so you can obviously have them do more work, compensate them for those cleans. So we also want to make sure that you're playing it fair there. If you're making more money, everyone on your team should be making more money too. So just be advised, chat with your team, make sure that they're cool with it. They have a plan for those pet deep cleans, and you've chatted about additional compensation.
You also should be concerned about damages. I will say that people with pets more often than not are actually really great pet owners, but have some rules in place. Like when they're not at the property, a lot of hosts, and I really love this rule, make it so that they have to be put in crates when the owner is away, or take your dog with you. Because when dogs are in areas that they are unfamiliar with, they get stressed out.
Yeah.
So they'll paw at the door, or they might become destructive in the short-term rental when they're not at home. So we have this conversation. This is very much a manual process. You could add automation to this messaging to your guest who's bringing a pet, but we like to have these conversations manually, in real time, I guess, to say that, listen, we know that you are a great pet parent, and that your pet is the best pet in the world, because they all think they are. But when they're in unfamiliar territory, it is our experience that dogs can experience anxiety and cause damage to the property. Now, what if it happens anyway? What if they don't rent your dog crate, or that you leave a dog crate, they don't use it, or they promise you they're bringing a dog crate, they don't use it, or a pet crate, whatever pet you allow? You need to be prepared for that. So what sort of security deposit, or maybe you have a damage waiver program, and a lot of damage waiver programs don't cover pet damage. So collecting that security deposit, in addition to that, listen, the pet fee that we talked about covers normal cleaning after a pet leaves. But if there is damage done, that pet fee doesn't cover that damage. And so you need to make sure that in your house rules, in your rental agreement, that is very clear, and you have a way to hold your guest accountable should there be damage in the property. I will tell you, it is rare, and usually any damage that happens, whether it's a pillow, or for us, it's like the front door and the pawing, and so our handy person has to come over, sand it down, repaint it. It's $100 for their time, $150 for their time, but you want to be prepared to get your property looking great again, because you don't want to be a pet-friendly property that looks worn down.
Yeah. And last but not least, this is something that's going to come up, is you will have future guests that see that, potential future guests that see that you're pet-friendly, and they may have allergies, okay? And so they're going to ask, I'm allergic to dogs, and I want to know who's been staying at your property, am I going to have a reaction? And here's the truth. This is whether you are pet friendly or not, because service animals are still allowed to stay at your property.
Absolutely.
So I always when that question comes across, you have to be very honest that service animals are also, so this is for those folks out there that are not pet friendly, but you still need to welcome service animals in that case. And so you really can't guarantee that someone hasn't brought a service animal, or that there hasn't been a pet stay there. So do prepare yourself that there might be some questions about pets staying in your property, and it might just not be a good fit for that future guest who's inquiring with you. We want to know in the comments, tell us are you pet friendly? If you are, how do you charge for pets? Is it per pet? Is it per stay? Is it a flat rate? We want to know how you are financially taking care of these four-legged friends that are coming to your property.
We also have a really great freebie in the show notes. It's a checklist to help you prepare to reset your property and get ready for the next stay in your short-term rental. So you want to check that checklist out. Check the checklist.
Pet-friendly
checklist. And then we mentioned service animals. Listen, there's a difference between pets and service animals. And when it comes to service animals, in a lot of states, it is the law. Check out that video because a lot of hosts don't understand that you could be in deep water if you ask certain questions, if you charge in a certain way. Like, check out that video. Just set yourself straight. Not knowing is no excuse. And with that, I am Sarah Caracan.
I'm Annette Grant, and together we are.
Thanks for visiting.